Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Demo in Diaspora. My name is Ademola Adisa. I'm your host. In Demo in Diaspora, we discuss issues about Africa and most especially, in particular, Nigeria. Today, we are going to delve into a very important development on the political stage in Nigeria, which is the regard to the 2026 Electoral Act Amendment that is going on at the National Assembly. What are the impact of this for the 2027 general elections? And we will discuss one of the major elements of the new act, and which is already been contentious. This way is one of the issues we are going to discuss today. In full details, let's look at the actual the issues regarding this electoral acts. There are areas of interest, which is regarding the electronic transmission of results. Also, issue about diaspora voting. Also, there is also issues on reforms for INEC, and also the ways of reducing the duplication of results. All these are what are the areas of amendment in the new the amendment 2026 Electoral Act. But the main issue that we're going to discuss today is the issue on electoral transmission of results. Part of this debate that is generating a lot of issue in Nigeria is regard to what exactly is best way of transmitting or transferring results. When I look at the definitions of transmissions of data, which is what votes are, I was surprised with the way changing the semantics of either transfer or transmission. As far transmission is only a medium through which a file is transferred, whereas transfer is the actual outcome of the end-to-end movement of data from one end to the other. So, in my own submission, I believe the word transfer will have even been more better and more inclusive and more embracing than just transmission, because transmission is just a medium. It doesn't confirm where if the data or the object that's being moved is delivered or not. A lot of things can be you can transmit a data, and you may not even reach the desired destination. It's only when it is read and received by the end user that is card and transferred. Just like your bank transfer. Yes, it's transmitted through electronic means, but it's only when you receive it in your account and confirm it that you believe that it's transferred. That is when that is the actual effect. That is when you feel that you have received such a data or such an object. However, the issue of semantics is not the issue. That the contention is actually the integrity of our election, the transparency and integrity of our elections. What are the things that are actually needed for us to be able to have an election which cannot be disputed, which is acceptable, which is recognized, and which devour all element of doubt? Now, for our viewers, I will go in depth into areas of this electoral act that require this confidence and sincerity of our elections, where there can be credibility to what is being the outcome of any election in Nigeria. So the more basic element here, I will try to go into the election day, because the more primary thing is the polling booth. The outcome of each polling booth is the foundation and the foundation of any election outcome. This is the most important element of our election. In the polling booth, what are the things that you need? Because this is where election actually take place. This is where the result is actually being generated. This is where all your either winning or losing can be determined. So, what are you expected on a polling day? Normally, in Nigeria, as we know, the election usually takes place between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. or sometimes the INEC may say it's 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 p.m. Within this period, that is the period where you are expected to be at the polling booth to get your vote cast and then also get to the result. So within this, what I can regard as 6 hours, that is, elections in Nigeria is within 6 hours on the day of the election. And most of the time, there is usually a holiday, and transport and movements are actually being restricted, so that there can be more people that will attend. The most contentious, the most important thing on this election day, let me go into full details. I want to give you a full analysis so that you can understand what this actually means. Now, the first for the arrival of the electoral officers. This is one of the contentious issues about Nigerian electoral officers. As I said, the polling booth usually starts either 8 a.m. or 8:30 and closes either 2 p.m. or 2:30. But in most cases, this electoral, because of logistic problem, sometimes these people doesn't usually arrive on time. But there is always a provision that even when they are a little bit late, the INEC has the discretion to extend the closing time wherever that type of issues occur. So when the electoral officers come, they have to come with their BVAS, that is the biometric verification and identification system. This is the core. If they don't have this, there cannot be election at that polling booth, because every voters have to be accredited, and the basic of accreditation is this BVAS. BVAS serve two purposes, not only for accreditation alone, but also it can also be used for collation or transmission of results. Then they also have to look at the ballots. They have to make sure that the ballots are not already completed, that they have to make it available and viewed for the people. And also, the ballot box need to be transparent. It should be open, and everybody should see that there is nothing, it's not filled already. So, and then they set everything up and open everything up for the voters that are at the polling booth. So, in every polling station, when the voters comes in between this period of 8 a.m., they are expected to queue in line in accordance to their arrival. Sometimes they give preference for old people or disabled people, or sometimes they may create for religious reasons or cultural reasons, they may create two lines for male and female. But whatever it is, you need to be on the queue, and when you come on they will accreditate you. You need to present your PVC. Then from your PVC, they will scan it. When it confirm that your name is on the registered, then they will now also use what you call the two steps verification. You top print, so or you use facial recognition. So this will be used by the BVAS. So the biometric, that's why biometric is either the fingerprinting, and the other part, biometric is the facial recognition. When this is done and it's confirmed that it is you, then you will be given a ballot. The ballot have to be stamped and signed by the officers in charge, which is supervisory officer there. So now, but if you face accreditation, either your fingerprint doesn't match or your facial recognition doesn't match, then you cannot be accredited. And when you are not being accredited, you cannot vote. And there is no controversy, there is no conspiration or anything. It's non-negotiable. So after you be accredited, then you are issued a stamp and signed the ballot, and then you go into a cubicle, a special designated area which protect your secrecy of your ballot. Then you thumbprint on the candidate, or eventually on the party of the candidate that you are voting. Then you fold your ballot, and then chop it in the sealed ballot box. The ballot box is sealed. It has a hole where you can put it through, and when you put it through, then you are voted. So you will also be given an indelible ink that will cover your hand to make sure that, to ascertain that you have already voted, so that you cannot vote twice. Anyway, if you come back again, you cannot do it because the accreditation, the BVAS will not recognize you for a second time. Then, as I said, voting finished at either 2 or 2:30. At this time, if you are on the queue, you are still eligible to be accredited and also be able to vote. But by 2 or 2:30, nobody is allowed to join the queue anymore. That means you cannot vote. So after the queue, they announce the end of the voting, and at the closing period, when everybody has voted that are on the queue, then the presiding officer will announce that the voting has ended, and he will now secure the ballot box and invite everyone to stay. Then it is also, when this is done, he will now bring the completed ballots, as he open the box, bring out and sort out the ballot box according to the party or the candidate. So, and when this is sorted out, then it will be counted one by one loudly in presence of everyone in view, and wherever there is a invalid vote, maybe you thumbprint more than one person, this will be rejected, and it will be confirmed in the presence of the party agent. There will also always be a party agent for each of the candidates of the political party that are contesting for that election. Then when this has been done, the outcome of the result will now be recorded in a form EC8. The EC8 will be seen and then open in the public, and people will see that it has not been filled beforehand. So the party agents and the voters around that are waiting around need to see that this is clean, and when the research is done, every individual, the scores will be entered and signed by the presiding officer. This will also be witnessed by the party agents that are present at that polling booth, polling station. This is the credibility of Form EC8A. This form is the most important document for the election. The moment you have voted and it's recorded, you have to make sure that the appropriate the ballot for each of the candidates, the figures are written accordingly, both in Arabic and also in words, but that is both in letters, in figures and words. This will be then signed, and the presiding officer, after all this is done, the president will now take a photograph of this first EC8 with the BVAS, and this will automatically upload it to INEC Result Viewing Portal, which is within the INEC server. So automatically, that is the real life. The result is now being transmitted straight into the IREV server and then into the INEC Result Viewing Portal, which is IREV, for the public to see. The agents as well as the voters that are present need to ensure that this is credibly done. That is the credibility of that vote. That is the credibility of that result. That is where the foundation of every other thing started. If this is not done well, then the credibility of that election or that polling unit will not be will be challenged. So, in essence, the voters as well as the party agents need to have it. This BVA is the more important thing in an election. Why is it so important? Now, let's look deeply into the importance of this Form EC8A. Form EC8A, as I said, is the actual result in that polling booth. This is the official polling unit result sheet for that polling unit. At each polling unit, this is recorded for each of the contestants. So the unit is recorded at the polling. It has to be recorded at the polling unit. It will show the total votes of each candidate. It will be signed by presiding officer and the party agent. Where the party agent refuses to sign, then this should also be noted in the form that any of the party agent or any particular party agent, or if all the party agents refuse to sign, this will also be stated. Then this form is the legal basis of all collation. This is the foundation. If you don't get this right, you will get everything wrong. So the Form EC8 is the one that is being transmitted to the IREV. So IREV is not the result. It's just a conveyance. It's a conveyance method. The Form EC8 is the source document, is the primary source of the results. So when you talk about IREV, or whether life or whatever, that is not the most important thing. The most important thing on the election is the Form EC8A. And you are all party candidates and their agents supposed to have a copy. Also, a copy of it will also be pasted at the polling station or polling unit, where the people that are there can also take a copy. They can take photograph of that copy. The BVAS, we take it the photo of the result of that sheet. It has to be in image form, not in figures, because this will be very difficult to compromise. If it is a letter, it can be changed anyhow, but it's more difficult to change a picture, an image, than a letter. So IREV Form EC8, the picture of it is uploaded and you go straight into the IREV view, that is INEC Result Viewers Portal. So now the collated result now go from that ward, from that police station, we now continue the continuation and start to the ward. It go to the ward, from ward to the local government, the local government to the state collation center, and then from state collation center to the national collation center. It depends on the level of election. So for ECA, as I said, is the primary source of result, is the original proof of the vote. And this is what the courts recognize in accordance with the Supreme Court judgment of 2023. This is the valid result. It's not the IREV, whatever is in IREV. Yes, IREV only convey what is in EC8. So, as I said, the IREV is only a conveyance forum, and it's just to convey. It's a transmission medium to convey the result from the polling unit to the IREV server. So this is where the transparency and the credibility of the elections actually is. And this is where all political parties and contestants need to focus. Their transmission is how the result travels, not the result. So when people are making noise about IREV transmission or no transmission, the focus should be on the credibility of Form EC8A, not on IREV. So if you get that right from the beginning, then you will not have any problem in the outcome of the election. So then let's look into where and how these results are being collated and why the collations, because if you find out in most of the election, on the polling day, everybody say, "Oh, the voting is secure. We have there may be a few issues about money people try to buy vote or whatever, but generally everybody at the polling booth always say yes, everything is okay. Yeah, we agree." It is only when the results start coming out from the collation, when the collation of this all the polling booths, that now people now when they see that the way is not in fact their way, the things are not coming up as they expected, then they start to question the credibility of the election. Just as I was saying, we now need to understand how is the election collated. How are the results collated? The result of as I said, the result at the polling station or the polling unit is being conducted by the presiding officer for that polling unit and recorded in Form EC8A. That is the outcome of that. Then it is now the summation of all these polling unit results that are now moved into the next level, the next stage of addition is the summation of this result that has been transferred to other units in what we call the collation centers. We have the ward collation centers, we have the local government collation center, we have the state collation center, and we have the national collation centers. So let's see how this is, especially in national general election for national position, especially that of the presidency, which is the one that is usually very much contentious in Nigeria. Now, let me enlighten this. Let me put it so that you can see it much larger. Yes. Now, the collection of the results step by step from polling unit either to the presidential collations, and especially in the presidential election. The results, the Form EC8A from each of the polling units are now taken to the ward collation center. And it is at this ward collation center also the party agents are also available there with the presiding officer. So it's the aggregate, the summation of those from EC8A from the polling units with regard to that number of wards in that area, in that local government, in each of the ward, for each ward, that now, when they add it up, it will now issue Form EC8B, and that will give the ward result. So, every police station or polling unit that is under that ward, the result will now be added together per each of the candidates, and each of the polling agents or representatives of the candidates will also be given a copy. So the agents now, the party agent and the political parties will now have not only Form EC8A, but they also have copy of Form EC8B. But Form EC8B is being generated from the results of Form EC8A. So Form EC8A is major. The moment you get all your results accurate and verified and correct at the polling unit, by which we have all your Form EC8A. This is the most important document above anything. So, and when this is done, then from the ward, it's now go into the local government. Each of the ward results is now taken to the local government for collation, the local government collation center. And when this is added together, all the results from the ward, depending on the number of wards in that local government, are now added together, and then it was now be recorded on Form EC8C. So Form EC8C will now be collated and then move into the next stage, which is the State Collation Center. So the State Collation Center will now also submission or addition of all the aggregate of the results from the local government and issue a Form EC8D. And then from when it's now all this is done, when all these state results that are recorded on Form EC8D are now taken to the National Collation Center, and that will issue them from EC8E, and that is the final result, especially for the presidential election. In other results, it may be it may not reach that stage, especially if it's a local government election, or if it is a councillorship election, or if it's a state constituency election, or if it's a federal constituency or senate election. They may not reach up to the stage of Form EC8E. So, and this is how your result is being collated. So, irrespective of whatever, the IREV or no IREV, the most important thing is those documents. The moment you get your Form EC8A, you can get your form from there. You can also check, and for every collation center, you can also go to the ward, get all the ward result. When you get your ward result, go to the local government, because when you are there, we can also verify with all the collation of the result that you have in all those police stations in those wards. You can also ensure that the result at the ward level is accurate. Then you take the collation result from each of the ward, and then you go to the local government collation center. You get all your result. And because you have already got it from the world, then whenever result they are doing at the local government, you can also check it with what result you get from EC8C. So B and C, that is A for police station, B for the ward, and C for the local government. And when you get your collation result from EC8C from the local government, then you can also, at the local collation center at the state level, you can also get an accurate result of your of whatever you got result from the state, from the local government. Then you can check that your number is accurate, your vote is protected. You need to stand by your vote. You need to make sure that you make your vote count. You stand by your vote. You make sure that this vote you follow your vote. You don't you stay at home and be expecting the IREV to know. The physical thing is more important than the IREV. You can also challenge IREV with your physical, like your accredited result, your validated result from EC8A, EC8B, EC8C, D or E. So then, the moment this is done, why it's a little bit difficult for small party, it's because of especially for national general election, especially president or big election, is because the terrain, the challenges is higher. Let's look into this together. Let me blow up this so that you can see what I mean. Now, the challenge is much higher. As a presidential candidate, you have your terrain is, you have to have 176,846 representation at every polling booth, because that is the number of polling booths. So you need to have agent not less than 176,846. Anything less than that, you are making yourself vulnerable. You should be able. I'm surprised that especially the opposition and the smaller parties can work together to make sure that each of the parties vote are protected, especially by agents. Even if you cannot cover, if you have an alliance with other party agents, then make sure that you work together to make sure that even no matter how small your vote is protected right from the polling booth to the National Collation Center. So in the wards, you have to have representation in 8,809 wards. So the collation center, you have to have your agent in 8,809 collation centers at the ward level. You have to have 176,846 agents at the police unit level. So then at the local government, we have 774 local government. Then you need to make sure that you have your party agent at all these 774 local government. I don't think if you have a federal representation, if you know that you have your members, you have party members in every local government, in every ward, in everything, then you should be able to assign one in each of the polling stations. There is no reason why you cannot have up to 176,000 members. This same member that were at the police station can also be distributed. The moment they finish, they go and become the accredited agent at other level, at the ward level, at the local government level. So the parties need to work. This is the hard work that the smaller parties and the opposition party are running away from when they think that the IREV is the one that will solve their problem for them. But the election is physical. You don't put it, it's not in the air. It's not something that you can think that you meet it at a social media level. No, it's physical. It's not electronic. Election is physical. You need to make yourself and your agent present to follow your vote to when it's being casted. So also we have at the Senate level, we have 109 districts. So people that are contesting at the Senate level have to have representation at those collation centers, which usually within the local government and the state level. So, and if you have your agents at local government and at state level, you should be able to carry that so that both the state assembly, we have 360 constituencies, I believe that is half of representatives, and also the state assembly, we have 991 constituencies that have been voted throughout the country, all over the country. We have 36 states and the FCT also. So you need to have representative at the state level to ensure that this is done. This is the act of politics. This is the credibility of an election. This is the validation of an election. If you know you are capable of gathering vote at the national level, especially at the presidential level, then we don't have any problem. If you have membership and have the structure to carry your vote, to gather vote, and also to defend your vote, then you don't need to have any problem. It is when you lack the structure and the resources and the personality and the presence to be able to manage and monitor your vote, that you have issue. So in essence, irrespective as a real-time transmission is very important. Yes, transmission is very important for credibility and transparency, but it's not the issue. It's not the core. The core is the vote. The vote starts from Form EC8A. You need, either you like it or not, you need to be able to gather your Form EC8A. And this is where I challenge the opposition that are complaining. Even the Western world, the Western democracies are not buying the idea of electronic transmission. Why? Either America or UK or Europe or United Kingdom, they don't do electronic transmission. They do physical counting of the ballot. They take it to the collation of center or the ballot or whatever center, and they check and recheck, and they validate, not just they don't part vote at the polling unit. Why are they not doing this? Why did they think that did you think that's stupid for them not to be using electronic transmission or whatever, transition or transmission? No. Electronic transmission can be compromised. It's not credible as physical. Physical is more credible than electronic transmission. These people that even have the highest level, the manpower and the resources to use electronic transmission or transfer or transition, why are they not doing it? Now, let's see. I need to blow this up for you to see so that you understand why this is so. The first thing is, in America or even in Europe, they don't transmit direct results. They don't. There is legal limit for what you can publish before the thing is sanctified or published. You can only, if you see election, especially in either in Europe, even in UK and America, people try to make guesswork. They forecast, they get a full sample from the polling unit and ask people, how do you vote? Then from there, they make their forecast. But they don't regard this as a result. So publishing of partial result in real-time result is banned and strictly regulated before polling close. Even either polling close or not, you don't publish any partial result without being coming from accredited electoral body. It's a polling station result must be verified and aggregated by higher counting authority first. So it is the electoral body that counts this result that is only credible enough to give you the accurate result. This problem is, either you trust them or not, you need to stay by them and make sure that you defend your vote. Defend your vote from the polling station to the ward level. Get your ward level from get your Form EC8A from the polling station. Get your Form EC8B from the ward level. Get your Form EC8C from the local government level. Get your Form EC8D from the state level, and then make sure that all this is collected and it comes before it's issued on Form EC8A at the national level. The polling station, as I said, must be aggregated and verified by the authority, which in this the case in Nigeria is INEC. Media report only make exit poll. They make a projection. They don't dabble into the results. They wait for the electoral body to bring out what the result is. That is what makes the result credible. That is what creates sanity in their result. That is what creates reliance and good governance in those places. The bottom line, it said Western democracy choose verification over verification and protection over real-time polling unit posts. That is all over verification. Democrats choose verification over protection. Protection only come. People just make projection, but it's not accurate. It's not the result. The accuracy and social trust take priority over speed. That is the most important thing. The accuracy of the result, not the speed, not within second. What are you transmitting within second? Garbage in, garbage out. If you transmit garbage, you will get garbage, and that may not be able. You may not be able to make a mind, and if you have not created unnecessary acrimony, it has not created a lot of things that will be too difficult to manage or too difficult to correct. If there is looking of the result, we all know that we are not technically strong enough to be able to correct this within minutes. When people's money are out in the bank, it takes months before they get their money back. Some people that never even get their money back. When there is hacking, you don't get the result. You don't get the result immediately. And even when you result, it becomes contentious because you don't doubt. You doubt is that the result, the real result that was hacked, or the other way. But when you have all your Form EC8 with you, either A, B, C, D, or E, you have the authentic result. And this brings me to the issue about the 2023 election. The 2023 election, the IREV portal have a glitch. To me, Nigeria made hacking. It was hacked. And people will get to know about it that there were more than 8 million attempts on that INEC server. And that is what brought the thing down. Actually, if this is so, and this period of when the IREV was suspended have no effect on the results at all. People are just being claiming lazy, and because they can't accept responsibility for their failure. The IREV is not your result. Your result is on your Form EC8. The PDP under Atiku, the Labour Party under the Obi, and the APC under Tinubu, everybody have their own what you call a situation room, collation center, where they collect all the results of their agent brought from the field. Why is it when even at the court, at the Supreme Court, both Obi and Atiku cannot disclose what actually they won from their agent? What did the agent brought? What are the results that the agent brought? Up to now, Obi and Atiku are still claiming the so-called discredited vote as that is what they want. Atiku is still claiming 6.8 million, even though he says it's not valid, it's discredited. Yet, that is what you are claiming today. You don't give us any alternative. You don't provide any alternative from your first FCA collection. Despite the fact that you have representation throughout the police station in Nigeria and the police units in Nigeria. So also Obi, yes, Labour Party doesn't have, they were unable to have agents all over, but within where they are, they cannot, they were unable even to provide. Even both PDP and Labour Party also requested for copy of the from ECA from INEC, which they were doing. So why did they not collect that and use it to challenge the election at the result? And why have they not been able to collect that up to today? So it's not the IREV that is your problem. You don't have the vote. That is pure and simple. If you have the vote, bring it out. You have all the proof from the agent that should be able to tell you if you want anything at all. So we need to stop all this discrediting of Nigeria, discrediting because of your failure. This is not what we expected. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this have enlightened you, and I also hope you know that what we are waiting for. We don't want a repeat of the 2023 election. If you fail to prepare, you should prepare to fail. If you don't have structures at the world level, you don't have structure at the local government, you don't have structure at the state level, you don't have national structure, you cannot win Nigeria election as a presidential candidate. People that are running about chasing what is not available are now trying to give excuse, because this to me is an excuse of failure. They already knew that they cannot win election in 2027, but all they are now trying to do is to discredit the election even before the election is even took place. If you are sure of yourself, go and prepare. If you fail to prepare, be prepared to fail. And once again, if you don't go to the grassroots and do the right things, stop blaming and castigating vote that you don't have. Thank you so much, and I hope I see you in our next broadcast. My name is Tia Ademola Adisa, and this is the Mo in Diaspora. Please, I would like you to please make sure you subscribe to our podcast, and also like and share. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.